to have an in-depth analysis on both the topics, the CAA NRC debate and voting rights. We have invited Dr. Komal Dahi and Dr. Aarti Lamba, the eminent speakers, and both of them are working as assistant professors in a reputed university. It's a pleasure to introduce Dr. Aarti Lamba. Dr. Aarti Lamba is an assistant professor at the School of Legal Studies, K.R. Mangalam University, Gurugram. With over 5 years of diverse experience spanning academia, legal practice, and research, she specializes in criminal law, gender justice, cyber law, and interdisciplinary studies such as law and science. She has published extensively both in national and international journals of repute and also presented papers at national and international conferences. She has actively contributed to discussions on critical issues like human rights, gender justice, and the role of women in mitigating environmental emphasizing the intersection of law and societal challenges. Her professional accolades include extensive teaching expertise, leadership as a model United Nations Club convener, and membership in Center for Human Rights.
Good evening, everyone, respected members, and I want to thank Dr. Reddy who gave me this opportunity to speak on this trending topic, CAA NRC debate, social and political dimensions of citizenship. So, when we talk about this topic, first of all, we should know what is citizenship. The citizenship is a legal status or which is recognized under the country's legal framework, or it's a formal membership in a nation which establish binding relationship between the states and the individual. There are certain provisions which are established citizenship a person, such as Article 5, Article 6, Article 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. These all constitutional provisions which clearly talks about the citizenship of a person. After that, what are the rights and duties of associate who is associated with the Citizenship Act 1955? The statutory provisions which clearly says that if a person wants a citizenship in India, then he has to acquisition of citizenship under Section 3, citizenship by birth, Section 4, citizenship by descent, Section 5, citizenship by registration, Section 6, citizenship by naturalization, Section 7, citizenship by incorporation of territory. After that, the loss of the citizen. If a person wants its citizenship in India, or he doesn't want to lose it, so he has to maintain all these certain things. He has to birth certificate or a decent or a registration. If these things they have, they are the citizen of the Indian. After, in 2016, the bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha, the Citizenship Amendment Act 2016. But due to the dissolution of 16th Lok Sabha, it was lapsed. After that, 2019, the bill again was introduced in the Lok Sabha, and it was introduced that the provisions for regarding granting citizenship to non-Muslims, refugees from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh who have entered India before December 31st, 2014. And we also have other legal references which clearly identifies that the Foreigners Act 1946, Passport Act 1920, Registration of Foreigners Act 1939, which mandates the registration of foreigners residing in India. So, why this topic is in debate? Why citizenship and NRC is in debate? So, the reason is The debate around citizenship in India stems from the introduction of the Citizenship Amendment Act and proposal of a national registration register of citizenship, which political of statelessness criticizes fears that those unable to provide citizenship may become stateless. It impact on the minorities concerned about the NRC being used in conjunction with the CAA to exclude certain communities, especially the Muslims. The next slides, which talk about the overview of the Citizenship Amendment Act. In this act, it was says that it is an amendment of the Citizen Act 1955. It is a primary aim to provide a pathway to the Indian citizenship for specific religious minorities facing persecution in neighboring countries. This act is particularly provide the fast track citizenship facilitate citizenship for the refugees belonging to the six non-Muslim communities such as Hindu, Sikhs, Buddhist, Jains, Parsis, and Christians. It applicable to the individual who migrate to India from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh on or before December 31st, 2014. The relaxation of residency is now from 11 years to 5 years for eligible individuals, and also there are certain exempted under this act such as sixth such as sixth schedule. It has been excluded from this particular act. Uh, so when we talk about this, the objective of the CAA is to fast track citizenship for the persecuted religious minorities from Pakistan and Afghanistan, those who are non-Muslim refugees. It clearly exclude the Muslims, which leading to allegations of discrimination based on religious, which is a which is raised a concern about the law's fairness, that this particularly violates the secularism that completely violates the secularism, which raised the concern about the law's fairness. And then after that, why the NRC was proposed. The proposal of the NRC of particular to this country was to initiative to documents all legal citizens of India. While it has been implemented in Assam, the government has expressed intent to extend its nationwide. The aim was to identify and exclude illegal immigrants. It also requires individuals to prove their citizenship through legal documentation. So now the controversial aspect is that they have to they have to provide certain documents to prove their citizenship, that they are the person who belongs to this country. So that's why it is in controversy. There are also certain the objective of this particular act is to, sorry, I frequently change my slides. I'm a little bit just nervous. The objective of this particular act is to provide refugee and citizenship to minorities fleeing religious persecution in the specific countries where Islam is the state religious. And now the controversy surrounding the CA is has been entered in the instance debate due to the concerns about its constitutionality, validity, impact on the secularism, and political discrimination, because it completely excluded the Muslims, which criticize argue violates Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, right to equality, as it introduced religious as a criterion for the citizenship. The exclusion has raised fear of institutionalized discrimination. Sorry. sorry for the disturbance. The exclusion has raised fear of institutionalized discrimination against largest minorities community, which creates a threat of secularism under the opponent's content that the CAA undermines India's secular framework as enshrined in the preamble and the Article 25 to 28 of the Constitution by prioritizing certain religious over others. Now, we have certain legal challenges which we are facing, that which we are currently facing, that article 14, right to equality. This article guarantees equality before the law and ensure that no person shall be discriminated against on the ground of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. The NRC process, if not implemented carefully, could potentially violate this fundamental right if it leads to the exclusion of eligible citizens based on arbitrary or discriminatory criteria. Article 15, prohibition of discrimination on ground of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Concerns arise that the NRC, if not designed inclusively, might discriminate against certain communities, especially those from marginalized backgrounds, leading to unfair exclusion. The certain challenges which we are facing is allegation of CAA violating secular principles. The Citizenship Amendment Act CAA passed in 2019, as we know that, which provides a pathway to the Indian citizenship for non-Muslim refugees from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan who entered India before December 2014. Critics argue that the CAA violates India's secular constitution by offering special treatment to certain religious groups while excluding Muslims, which many view as discriminatory. The combination of CAA and NRC raises fear that it could marginalize Muslim citizens or those perceived as undocumented immigrants. The second fear of NRC disproportionality affecting the poor and illiterate persons. The NRC process often requires individual to produce documents as a proof of their citizenship, but many poor and illiterate people may lack these documents. These individuals, especially in rural or remote areas, may find it difficult to comply with the documentation requirements, leading to their exclusion from the NRC. This could result in a large sections of the population being rendered stateless or facing difficulties in proving their legal status despite being Indian citizenship. The next dimension is social dimension, which impact on the society. First is fear and uncertainty among marginalized group. The NRC process, particularly when linked with the Citizenship Amendment Act, has generated significant fear among marginalized groups, especially Muslims, Dalits, Adivasis, and other communities who may lack proper documentation. These groups face unnecessity about their citizenship status, and the fear of being excluded from the NRC has led to concern about potential statelessness, loss of rights, and the inability to access basic services. The second impact on the society is polarization along religious communal lines. The NRC and CAA have contributed to increasing polarization in Indian society, while CAA offers a pathway to, to citizenship for a non-Muslim refugees from neighboring countries. Critics argue that it undermines India's secular fabric and discriminates against Muslims. This has deepened divisions along religious and communal lines, creating an us versus them, where certain communities fear being singled out based on their religion. The political dimension is government's perspective, protecting persecuted minorities. The government argues that the Citizen Amendment Act is aimed at providing refugee and citizenship to religious minorities, Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsis, and Christians from Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and Pakistan who faced religious persecution in those countries. According to the government, these groups are vulnerable and need protection, and the CAA is a humanitarian measure to safeguard their rights. The second perspective of the government is strengthening national security. The government justifies that the NRC is as a tool to identify illegal immigrants and ensure that only lawful citizens remain in the country by identifying individuals who may have entered the country without proper documentation. The government argues that if it will strengthen national security, prevent the misuse of the resources by illegal immigrants, and protect the demographic integrity of the nation. So now the international reaction was it literally criticized from global human rights organization, because several international human rights organization, including United Nations and various Western countries, have criticized the NRC and CAA. They have raised concern about the law's discriminatory nature, particularly towards Muslims, and the potential for widespread human rights violation. These organizations have urged the Indian government to ensure that its policies respect the rights of all citizens, regardless of their religious background, and to ensure that no one is left stateless. So the when the NRC was implemented in Assam, the in Assam was updated to identify genuine Indian citizens and detect illegal immigrants, particularly from the Bangladesh. The process involved extensive document verification with applications required to provide proof for their ancestry or residence in Assam. The process was the document verification. Applicants submitted documents to establish their citizenship status. The verification process involving multiple stages to ensure accuracy. The final list, the NRC list, was update on the 31st August 2019, where including 31.1 million individuals and excluding 1.9 million. The outcome of the implementation was exclusion of 1.9 million. Approximately 1.9 millions were excluded from the final NRC list, and that completely raised concerns about their citizenship status, because over detention centers and statelessness, the exclusion has led to fear of statelessness and potential detentions. The report indicate that the detention centers were being prepared to accommodate those excluded, though the exact number of such centers and their capacities remain unclear. The status of the excluded individuals remain uncertain, with many facing challenges in proving their citizenship. The legal challenges which was faced by that the excluded individuals have the option to appeal their exclusion in foreigners tribunals. However, the process has been criticized for its complexity and the lack of transparency. The human rights concern was that the international human rights organizations have expressed concerns about the potential for the mass statelessness and the impact on vulnerable communities. They have called for a review of the NRC process to ensure it's aligned with the human rights standard. That was urged by the international human rights organization. So the next is the how we can safeguard from these particular things, like ensure legal alliance with constitutional principles. It is essential to ensure that both CAA, and NRC comply with the fundamental principles enshrined in Indian Constitution, particularly those related to equality, secularism, and non-discrimination. The law should be carefully scrutinized by legal experts and courts to prevent any violation of rights. For example, Article 14, right to equality. The implementation of these laws should not lead to the marginalization of any specific community, particularly vulnerable groups like the poor, illiterate, or those without adequate documentation. Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. The process should respect citizens' right to live with dignity, and exclusion from the NRC should not result in arbitrary detention or statelessness. To promote inclusivity and awareness camps should be provided. Access to support. Communities lacking documentation should have access to legal aid and assistance in proving their citizenship. This would help ensure that exclusion are based on legitimate reasons rather than a lack of awareness or access to resources. Community engagements, dialogues, and engagements with various social groups, including religious ethics and regional communities, can help build trust and address concerns. Transparencies and exclusion in the decision making process will promote a sense of shared responsibilities in the implementations of these laws. So there are certain policies which we can recommend, that the transparent implementation, that there should be a clear documentation requirement, monitoring mechanisms, and accountability for errors. Address concerns all the stakeholders. Policymakers should actively engage with all stakeholders such as political parties, civil society, organization, community leaders, and marginalized groups to address their concern about the political potential consequences of NCR and CAA. Um, Thank you so much for your time and giving me this wonderful opportunity, sir.